Hello everyone, and welcome to this webinar on transforming shyness and binge drinking using internal family systems, a form of inner parts therapy. My name is Sandy Therry, and I have a master's degree in counselling from Notre Dame University. And I'm also a qualified life coach. And I was the very first Australian therapist to be trained by Dr. J. Early in the practice of internal family systems back in 2009. You can even find a transcript of one of our sessions together in Dr. Early's book entitled Freedom from Your Inner Critic. I've also studied and practiced EFT, NLP, and transactional analysis, another form of psychotherapy, for many years. But to be honest, I love internal family systems therapy the most. That's because I've found it to be the gentlest and the most respectful, as well as the most powerful and all-encompassing healing modality I've ever had the privilege of learning in the past 15 years. Since 2009, I've had the pleasure of working with clients from many different parts of the world, including the US, Singapore, Malaysia, and Australia, in person and via Skype. Internal Family Systems, IFS for short, was developed by Dr. Richard Swartz, PhD. It's an evidence-based practice which can be used with children, adolescents, individual adults, as well as couples, to treat phobias, physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, depression, generalized anxiety disorders, trauma, health conditions and their symptoms, panic attacks, compulsive behaviors, addictions, and to build resilience. I've personally found IFS to be a beautiful blend of inner child work, timeline therapy, parts therapy, mindfulness meditation, and systemic family systems. It's an incredibly gentle and deeply healing form of psychotherapy. Before I play an actual IFS session for you today, I'd like to explain a little bit about the theory and background of internal family systems. In the early 1990s, working as a marriage and family therapist, Dr. Richard Swartz discovered that just as a family has individual members who have different roles or parts to play in the family, every unique individual also has a number of different parts in their psyche, sometimes called subpersonalities. And each of these different parts has a different role to play too. To have happy, well-balanced children, you need to have a happy, well-balanced parent or parents leading them. Parents who listen to them, comfort them, gently discipline and guide them through life. Similarly, to have a happy, calm and peaceful state of mind, our internal parts also need a healthy and well-balanced parental part to listen to them, comfort them, and guide them too. Dr. Swartz termed this parental part, or state of being, the self. Other therapies and some religions refer to this part as your core essence, your authentic self, true or natural self, the witnessing or observing self, or as being centered. When someone is fully connected to and living in their self-energy, the natural qualities they experience are feeling compassionate, calm and balanced, worthy, connected, confident, joy and peaceful, curious and courageous. The times we most feel connected to or at one with this state of being is at birth, while meditating or praying, when out in nature, and as children playing. When a person is in that state of being, Dr. Schwartz called it being in self. As we grow up and have new experiences, difficulties or traumas in our lives, we develop new parts in our psyches to help us cope with them. You may develop an angry part, a procrastinating part, an inner critic part, a people-pleasing part, or a number of other parts to help you cope in daily life. Dr. Schwartz referred to these types of parts as managers, because they end up unconsciously managing our lives. Although most people don't like these parts because they can cause havoc in their lives, these parts actually developed with a positive intent of protecting you, particularly when you were young. That's why they're also referred to as protectors. For example, an angry part may develop in a child whose parents neglected them, or whose parents told them not to cry when they hurt themselves. Or perhaps they had parents who favoured one of their siblings, and this hurt them deeply. To cope with their circumstances, these children developed an angry part, whose role was to protect them from feeling their real feelings of sadness, loneliness, and rejection. Dr. Schwartz referred to these wounded children as exiles. Another person may have developed a procrastinator part because someone shamed them when they made mistakes as a child. Maybe it was the teacher or even the kids in their class who laughed at them when they answered a question incorrectly. The shame they felt was unbearable, so they stopped trying for fear of making other mistakes. As an adult, they may still be putting things off and procrastinating because they're still scared of making mistakes and being shamed for it. Another person may have developed a perfectionist part because one or both of their parents were perfectionists or high achievers. Nothing less than an A or a spotlessly clean bedroom was ever good enough for them. Perhaps the child got a B once instead of an A, and they were devastated by their parents' disapproval. In response, they formed a perfectionist part, whose role was to keep them studying long enough to achieve their parents' high standards of consistent A's. Keeping their parents happy in this way ensured the child would receive their parents' approval, love, and praise. Sometimes parts are born in pairs, so an anxious part may develop at the same time as the perfectionist part. In this case, both parts would have the same positive intent for the child, which is to protect it from ever feeling shamed, disapproved of, and like a failure again. The perfectionist part accomplishes this by making sure the child studies for hours to consistently receive A's, instead of playing with its friends or watching TV. The anxious part achieves this by making the child check and recheck their work to make sure it's 100% correct before they hand it in. A people pleaser may develop in a child who grew up in a single-parent family, or in one where the mother was either very sick, depressed, or narcissistic, or where one of their parents was an alcoholic. Being a female or the eldest child in the family meant that they were often given an adult responsibility, such as looking after their younger siblings, cleaning the house, or doing the cooking. These children learnt that their role in life was to look after everyone else's needs before their own. As adults, their people-pleaser part continues doing this, even when it's to their own detriment. An inner critic may have developed in a person's psyche because they were criticised a lot as a child. Part of their child believed that what people told them about themselves was right. So now as an adult, they find themselves saying the same things about themselves. Although all these parts started with a positive intent for us, to protect us from being vulnerable as children and feeling our painful emotions, the more parts we develop that are not natural to us, the more our authentic self shrinks, and the less we are in contact with it on a daily basis. Fortunately, though, all these parts can be transformed back into their natural selves using internal family systems therapy, as you will soon hear. Another type of parts that some people develop in their psyche are called firefighters. The positive intent or role of a firefighter is to protect you from feeling any painful emotions. They do this by engaging in addictive, indulgent, or impulsive behaviours. They're your alcoholic parts, drug addict parts, overeating parts, shopaholic parts, risk takers, workaholic, and gambling parts. To illustrate what I've been discussing so far, this picture shows all three types of parts that make up a person's psyche, or as Dr. Richard Schwartz calls it, their internal family system. First, there are the managers, who are responsible for maintaining a functioning level of consciousness in our daily lives. Their role is to ward off any unwanted or counterproductive interactions, emotions, or experiences resulting from external stimuli. Secondly, there are the firefighters. Their role is to distract the conscious mind when traumatised exiles resurface. To protect us from feeling the pain of our exiles, they engage in indulgent, addictive, and impulsive behaviours. Because both managers and firefighters have a protective role in the psyche, they are also referred to as protectors. Lastly, we have the exiles. Exiles are wounded, traumatised parts, often developed in childhood. To stop us from feeling their pain, our protectors exile these hurt parts deep down in the bowels of our psyche, away from our consciousness, in the hope that they will never resurface again. In its own centred place sits the self. From its calm vantage point, the self quietly observes all the other parts. When a manager or a firefighter gets triggered and starts acting out, the self listens to and calms them, and then helps facilitate the healing of their exile. A happy, calm, and well-balanced person is normally one that has a well-developed self at its centre. With self-energy and charge, your different parts and emotions can be more quickly contained and then healed when they're triggered, bringing a calmness and order to your psyche. This is true self-leadership. Without any self-leadership, your parts and emotions are free to run wild and cause havoc in your life and in your relationships. Now, before we listen to an actual IFS session today, I'd like to give you a bit of background information. My client, we'll call him Sam, was sent to me by his wife, who was fed up with his binge drinking. Sam told me that he always ended up blind drunk whenever he went out with his friends drinking, and that his wife was ready to leave him because of it. When I asked Sam to close his eyes and visualise what his binge drinking part looked like, he laughed and told me it looked like Homer Simpson. Delving deeper, I asked Sam to ask this drinking part when it first developed and what its role is in Sam's life. It told us it came into Sam's life when he was only 13 years old. At the time, Sam had just moved to a new school where he didn't know anyone, and he started feeling very shy. The binge drinking part said its role was to stop Sam feeling so shy and to help him fit in with the other boys when they were all drinking. Although Sam is an adult now, he was finding that every time he socialised with his current group of friends, the shy, uncomfortable feelings of his 13-year-old self would resurface. Not wanting to feel them, Sam would drink until he was blind drunk to drown the feelings out and to feel like he fitted in again. So now that you have an understanding of what Sam's presenting issue was and the parts of his psyche that were involved, let's listen to the actual recording of the session I had with Sam, where we were able to transform his 13-year-old's insecurities and his binge drinking part. By the way, Sam had never heard of IFS or inner parts therapy when he first came to see me, so I spent a little time explaining it to him first, just like I have with you. Then I led him through a short meditation, as I do with all my clients, to help them get centered and experience being in self. The recording starts at the beginning of the meditation. I'd like everyone listening to this webinar to stop whatever you're doing, close your eyes and join in the meditation. I hope you enjoy listening to Sam's transformation as much as I did facilitating it. Here it is. So we're going to start off just doing some deep breaths, and the deep breaths get us back into our bodies, because a lot of times we're just totally in the head, worrying about this, anticipating that, and feeling regret about something. That's all just going round and round your head. A lot of people have insomnia. So the way to get back out of the head and bring the blood supply back from the head to the body is through the breath. So it's easy and it's cheap. It's free, in fact. So I'll just lead you through some breathing exercises now. And you may as well start closing your eyes, because, that brings you back into yourself. So let's start by just taking a deep breath in. Hold it just for a moment at the top and then breathe it out of your mouth. Good. And take another deep breath in. Hold it for a moment and breathe out through your mouth. Just let all the tension out of your body go. Breathe in again. Hold it for a moment. Look around if there's any tension in your body and just breathe that breath into that air. And just let your hands relax and your chest relax and your neck relax, and your torso and your hip area and your thighs and down your legs. And this next time, I want you to think of a place that you really just love. You feel so relaxed when you go there. So it could be down the beach at a sunset. It's kind of like a place where time just stands still. Or you could be looking at the night sky, or you might be in nature somewhere in a forest. Wherever that is for you, that makes you feel really calm. Just imagine you're there. And next time when we're going to breathe in, I'm going to ask you to breathe in all the energy of that place. And then as you breathe it in and we come to that, just holding that, Look down at your body, see if there's any tension, and just blow it into that place, or blow it right through your whole body. Okay, so let's try that. So see that place, feeling what it's like to be there. Now suck in the energy as you're breathing in at that beautiful, peaceful place. Hold it for a moment, look down to see if there's a place that's tense, and breathe it out through your body, down through that tense place. Beautiful. And let's do that again. Breathing in the energy, taking in your lungs, breathing it down through every part of your body so your whole body feels at one with that place. And again, breathing in the energy of that beautiful, peaceful scenery, and then breathing it down through every part of your body. We're going to do it one more time. Then we're going to breathe it down from your head right down your body. So breathe in that peaceful place. Imagine it. You're putting it in your head and breathing it down your head, down your face, down your neck, through your, right down to the bottom of your toes. And now just allow yourself to sit, feeling that energy in your body as if you are part of that scenery. Just feel it in your bones and in all of your ligaments. Just allow it to just pass right through every one of your cells so that there's no separation between you and that nature place. And from this peaceful place in your body, this centered core of you, I want you to remember the times that you feel you want to drink. And I want you to try and explain to me where do you feel the impulse in your body when you want to drink? Do you get tense in your shoulders, or is it in your stomach? Where do you feel it when you want to have a drink?
Just get a thought.
Okay, get a thought.
And a feeling like I'm missing out.
So you get a thought that you're missing out, and there's a feeling. Where's the feeling in your body?
My chest area.
Okay. So is it like a constriction, like it restricts in your chest, or what's it feel like in your chest?
Yeah, like a restriction.
Okay. So the tenseness in your chest, and then in your thought is, I want to have a drink, I don't want to miss out. Okay. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. So from that tense place in your body, in your chest, if you were to allow an image of this part to form, and it can come out as a caricature or someone you know on TV, or just something really, crazy, doesn't matter. But whatever first comes to mind that represents this, I want to have a drink, I don't want to miss out, what would that look like?
For me, it's more boredom,
Boredom.
and
Okay.
just get anxious.
Yeah. So if you were to see what that anxious looks like, if there was a person or a caricature that really represents that anxiousness, boredness, just allow something to pop up in a picture of a person to pop up, or it can be an animal or anything.
Homer Simpson.
Okay, cool. Homer Simpson. Okay. So your alcoholic is in the form of Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's give him a different name though, okay? Because we don't want him just to be home. We want to be your personal alcoholic, if you like. What would you call this part? What would be most appropriate for you, that represents it for you?
Jake.
Jake. Okay. Jake, the anxious one and bored one. Okay? Okay. Good. So we've got a visual of him. He's Jake and he looks very similar to Homer Simpson. So he's the anxious one. He's the one that gets bored. When you look at him there, is he doing anything or is he just standing there?
Standing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Contemplating.
Contemplating. Okay. Uh-huh. So is he anxious or is he bored?
Anxious.
Okay, he's anxious. All right. So looking at him there, feeling anxious, how do you feel towards this part, this Jake part at the moment? Are you curious about why he's anxious or, what do you feel?
Yes. Curious and it's
wary of him. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. So I'm going to suggest that wary of him is actually another part. Okay? And we really want to get to know Jake today. So I'm going to ask you if you can ask that other part that's wary of him just to step aside out of your body and, for this session, he can come back another session and we'll deal with him. Yeah, because we really want the curious part to be the part that's here today. So the wary part happy to step aside? Great, awesome. That's exactly what we want. Okay, so the curious part, we're going to ask that your core curious part, to ask Jake, from its perspective, what's its role in your life? What's it trying to do for you that's good for you? What's its positive intent, positive role for you? And then just listen to his answer.
make me happy.
Okay, so he's there to make you happy. Well, that's a very nice thing to do, isn't it? Try and make someone happy. So I'm going to ask you to just show some appreciation and thank it for its role and its efforts to try and make you happy in your life. Then I want you to see, does he look glad that you've acknowledged him for his efforts?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is he smiling or anything? Or has he
Smoke.
a smirk?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So he likes that someone's actually taking notice that he's done a very noble job trying to make you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Good. Okay. So I wonder if you'd ask it, what is it afraid would happen to you if he didn't try and make you happy in this way, protect you by making you happy? What's he scared would happen instead to you?
Just not confident.
Not confident.
It's like a shield, sort of hiding behind.
Mm. So it's like a shield, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're hiding behind the shield.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's come to make you happy so that you feel more confident. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So I'm going to ask you to ask him, at what age did he very first come to help you from being shy or not confident? What was the very first age that he thought, oh, I've got to come in there and help you, make him happy?
13 or 14.
Okay, 13 or 14. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to ask him, would it be all right for us now to work with the 13-year-old to try and help heal that not feeling confident? Would he allow us to do that now? Great. So he's given us this permission. Well, thank him for that. So I want you to be able now to put your awareness as if you're watching that boy. He's 13-year-old. And what's happening to him?
He's just drinking at a party.
Oh, so he's drinking at a party. So how's he feeling though? Where's his not confident part? Where's that part in him? Why is he feeling that at this time in his life?
Shy.
Shy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you feel towards this shy 13-year-old boy?
Sorry and
There's some sorriness and maybe some compassion towards him?
yeah.
Yeah. So you feel for him. So I wonder if you might like to pop in back to that scenery, but as your adult self, and just stand next to him as a support for him. And you might even say something like, I see you drinking, but I sense that you're a bit shy too. What's that about? Can I help you all? And just see how he responds to him having some support in his life at that age.
Grateful.
Oh, nice. So he's acknowledged you in a good way. So just stand next to him and just send your compassion from your heart out to him. Just send it to him so he gets to feel even more of your compassion. And is he able to feel that?
Yeah.
Great. Cool. So now maybe take him aside and just ask him, tell me what's going on in your life that you are resorting to drinking. What's going on? Tell me about your shyness. Why is that happening? And just be there to listen to him.
Bullying at school and just trying to not fit in, but just doing what everyone else is doing, copying everyone.
So he's bored at school and he's just there at the party copying everybody else. Yeah? So what's he shy about particularly? Is there any particular thing that he's shy about or not feeling confident besides school? Where's he the most shy in his life?
Just being teased, picked on.
Okay. So who's he been teased and picked on by?
Just, his peers.
All the other kids. And what do they tease him about?
Just because he's new to the school.
Oh, yes, okay. So it's difficult for him.
Yeah.
So tell him you really understand how difficult it is for him and how difficult it can be to be at a new school. Tell him, you've been through that too. And also that you want to be there to help him through it. And how does he look when you tell him all that? How does he respond to that?
He's happy.
He's happy. Okay. So ask him, what can you do to actually help him at school? And if you could do anything at all, and you can, because you're an adult, what would he most want you to do for him?
listen.
Just to listen?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's he want to tell you? Just, you say, I'm here for you, mate. I'm here to listen to anything you want to tell me. You can offload anything. And then just sit back and listen to him.
Just how hard it is at school and just getting pressured into stuff
Yeah.
and just trying to fit in.
He wants to fit in like anybody else. All kids want to fit in. So how can you help him?
Talk to the
Talk to the other kids?
other kids, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So imagine going over talking to the other kids on his behalf.
They listened and respected.
Okay, what did you tell them? It's very good.
Just how much of a hard time he is having.
Right. Good. That's very good. And they actually took it in and respected that, hearing it from you. Yeah. He couldn't stand up for himself. It was too hard. He was the only one against all these other boys. And he lost his voice, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been there to support him, tell the other boys what's actually happening for him. And they're respecting that. That's wonderful. So what will the boys do now with him?
Leave him alone, but some of them will friend him.
Yeah. Wonder if you can see the ones that are befriending him now. Maybe not being the ones who are the ones that drink and who pressure him to do things, but they're the kinder sort of boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And see them, I don't know what they played in those days, but just see them doing the activities that they would normally do together, actually having fun together.
Yeah, they like playing cricket.
Yeah, nice. And how does that feel for him?
Good.
He likes being outside.
Fun.
Yeah, fun. So he can have fun and feel good inside himself and enjoy the company of his friends without having to get drunk. He can feel just as good, can't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another choice, a different choice to just doing what the other guys do and just follow them. He can make another choice and feel equally as good inside himself, have a lot of fun with his friends. Is he feeling shy at all, or is he just forgetting that at the moment?
Forgetting them.
Yeah, and he's connecting with the boys, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so wonderful for him to know that he can have fun and connect with friends and without having to have a drink. How does he feel about that?
Good. He's enjoying it more.
Excellent. So, is there any need for the shyness in him at the moment?
No.
No. So I wonder if you might suggest to him that if you're just not needing it anymore, then it's like an old energy, old smelly energy that he can bring forth in his life, or he can just get rid of it there and then. And if he would like to, he can sort of gather it into like a ball of energy, wherever it was sitting around his chest, remember?
Yeah.
And he can actually pull that energy out like into a ball, and he can throw it in the sky way, 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 way from him, or he can dig a big thing in the ground and bury it, or he can stick it in a fire and just watch it just dissipate in the fire. However, he'd like to get rid of that energy, because it's not necessary for him to keep holding on to that. Energy weighs people down, so let him get rid of it, help him get rid of it. What would he like to do with it?
Throw it away.
Yeah. So just see him maybe even, hit it with the bat, like, way out over the trees so you can't see it ever again. Has he done that? So now, see how he feels in his body now, without that old, stinky old, shy energy. What's his body feel like now?
Lighter.
Lighter, yeah. Because it wasn't natural to him. Before that school, did he get on well with the other friends at other school?
Yeah.
So it wasn't something that was natural to him. It was something he took on then and there, and he didn't realise that he just kept, it in the back pocket and just kept it right through his life till, he got old, when he didn't need it anymore. Yeah. So now that energy of shyness is gone, I want you to see what it was covering up. So what is now allowed and starts forming and bubbling up in him, that's a positive quality that was being suffocated down by that old shyness. What do you see positive quality arising from him? What is it?
Confidence within himself.
Yes. And allow him to just really feel that again and remember what it feels like to be confident among his friends again. What's he doing now that he's got that confidence just running through his veins again?
He's happier.
Yeah, he's happy.
He's walking with his head held high.
Yeah. Walking with his head held high again, like he used to do.
Full of life.
Yes. Full of life again. That's how he used to be. That's his natural state. So now he looks at you and he just wants to thank you so much for helping him, by supporting him. He comes over and gives you a great big hug. And as he's hugging you, he's actually passing on, as his way of thanking you, all this energy of confidence, feeling happy, full of life. And he's passing it on to you as your body's touch. You're actually receiving this yourself. And you start to feel rising up in you this confidence, this happiness, a place where you could walk with your head high and you just start feeling full of life. And what do you do together as you're feeling so full of life? What starts to happen?
Feel a lot lighter.
What else? What else?
Thankful.
Thankful, yeah. What are you two doing together now?
Walking, talking.
Walking and talking, yeah. There's just an easiness about it. Yeah. This is both of your natural states. This is that authentic self that I was talking about before any wounding happened to you. So the interesting thing you said is you felt confident and happy and full of life. And remember the alcoholic James that looked like Homer?
Yeah.
His job was to make you happy, wasn't it?
Yes.
But you are happy now. Yeah. So I want you to bring James back in to see how happy you guys are. Just let him watch you guys walking along confidently, just talking, feeling happy, heads held high, full of life. And how's he responding looking at this? What's he looking like?
He's sad and like, how to say it? Like he should be happy for us that that we don't need that to be happy, the alcohol.
Yeah. But did you say he's sad?
Yeah.
Okay. So I wonder if he's just sad because he doesn't know his role anymore. Ask him why he's sad.
Because he's got no place in my life.
Yeah. Okay. Tell him he can have a place in your life now, but he can have a different role. He doesn't have to go away. He can do something different. And what would he like to do that would encourage this new way of being, but without the drinking? What new role would he like?
Just when the opportunity does come, just be there to remind me why. Like, I'm not drinking.
Yeah. What could
and all the good,
yes, sorry.
positive things you do without it.
Beautiful. He can remind you of the things that you can do that will make you have fun and be happy and confident without alcohol. How does he feel about that role?
Good.
He likes it? So, can we help him get rid of the sadness? If he has this new role, does he need the sadness anymore?
No.
Oh, okay. So imagine if you could suggest to him that he doesn't need to hold the sadness anymore, because he's got this brand new spanking role that's going to help you so much more do the same thing, which is to still make you happy, but just in a different way, in a better way. So does he need the sadness anymore?
No.
Yeah. So just tell him he can actually get rid of that sadness by grabbing it, taking it into like the energy into a ball, and he can throw it out to the moon, he can, throw it in fire, anything he wants to do so that it just totally is gone and he never has to have that again in his life. And how would he like to do it?
Throw it in the fire.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And now as you see him, watch him, what's he doing or looking like?
Feels happy.
He feels happy. Good. So you might want to thank him for his role and hug him and pass on what you're feeling to him so he really knows what it feels like, so he can encourage that in you in the future. So as you hug him, you're passing that confidence to him. So let him feel your happiness. You're walking with your head held high, the confidence, full of life. And have all three of you now feeling that in your bodies. And what are the three of you doing together?
At a beach.
Ah, the beach.
Looking out into the sunset.
Beautiful. And if this Jake protector had any worry about you, maybe you can let that go too. Because you're all feeling confident and happy now, and he doesn't really need to worry about you. But before we do that, let's show him that you can do this in real life. So I want you to imagine yourself, in the future at a party or something, and where you'd normally overdrink there, because you're feeling so good and so happy in yourself, see how easy it is to just say no to that maybe other drink. And what does it feel like? What does it feel like for you?
Feels good.
Feels good. And what does it feel like when you, I don't know what you'd normally say, maybe have 2 drinks and then you would go for that third, or what does it feel like? Do you have that need inside your chest that makes you want to go for that third drink?
No.
So what's it feel like in your chest now?
Feels good.
Yeah, good. No tense anymore. So what are you focused on instead? At the party, what are you focused on if it's
just
not
talking, communicating with everyone. Just meet and greet.
Yeah. And I want this Jake to be watching this, okay, and seeing you. How you're able to stop just to maybe a couple of drinks and pace yourself. And how's he feeling, Jake, watching you?
Happy for me.
Good. Good. And bring your partner in there too. And she's been watching you and watching you just talking to the people and having fun without having those extra drinks. And see how she's looking.
Proud.
Proud of you. And how long has it been since you've seen that proud look on her face when she looks at you?
Ages.
Ages. So take that in, feel it. Feel how good it feels when you peek over and there she is, looking so proud at you. Because you did the work here. You did this session, you healed your 13-year-old shyness so that you can have her proud of you by regaining your confidence. It was always yours. It just got lost for a short time when you were 13. But it's back. So have a look. It's been, maybe coming towards the end of the evening with your friends. And where's your partner now?
Beside me.
Yeah. And how's she look at you now? How's she looking at herself too? Is she more relaxed?
You're more relaxed. Doesn't have to worry.
And is her heart, do you feel the presence of her heart opening up to you again?
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's what you always wanted, wasn't it? So I want you to help unburden her and James, your old protector who were worried for you now, before, because they can see you're okay now. You've got it. It's all you've handled it. You can have fun and not have to overdrink. So I want you to help them unburden them from their worries. They can take all that energy of worry that they've had in the past and help them just get rid of it. Suggest to them they can do whatever they like. They can throw it in the fire, they can throw it out to the wind to take away, they can throw it in the water and let it just drift out to sea. Just tell them they don't need it anymore and just let them relieve themselves of worry now too. And how do they feel now without carrying that old heavy burden of worry?
I could. Anyway. Got rid of it.
Yeah.
And they feel relieved.
Yes. Relieved, more relaxed, lighter even?
Yeah.
Good. And how are you and your partner enjoying each other's company now?
That's awesome. More talkative, affectionate.
The affection's back. Yes, because the worry was in the way of that, wasn't it? Yeah. And if the worry's not necessary anymore, you can get closer. You can open your hearts and be more affectionate and just more joyful and happy together again. So I want you to imagine you hugging your partner and you passing on that feeling of confidence so she can feel it in you too. And that happiness and that fullness of life. And let her reclaim that back into her life too. Let you both embracing it, just enjoy that. Enjoy feeling happy together again, confident in each other and the relationship.
That's awesome.
I'm so glad. You just reclaim your life back and your confidence back.
Wow. Thank you.
You're quite touched.
Yeah, I am. Just can't believe what we've brought up and that, you know, just amazing.
It's amazing as how something from so long ago can have such a major impact on our lives. To take us on a totally different route, you know?
Yeah.
And that wounded 13-year-old is now driving the bus of your life.
Yeah.
And you're not in control of it.
Yeah.
When you heal it, and that's no longer there, you don't have to do the compensating actions, which was the drinking in this case, because he doesn't feel shy anymore.
Yeah.
And shyness was not his natural state. He was in response to a trauma of moving to a new school. But it gets locked in if it's not healed. So we need to heal all the traumas that happen in our lives.
Yeah.
And congratulations, you did it today.
Thank you. Honestly feel like a lot of relief.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. Because that energy, we did release it. Yeah. And it's like, oh, you know, if you're holding on to something that's heavy.
Yeah.
You know, day in, day out, year in, year out, you know, don't realise how heavy and the toll it's taken on you until you put it down.
It's awesome. I just feel a lot of relief and a lot happier in myself.
Yes, because you've come back to your more natural self, you know, that authentic self before, at the beginning, the heart. You've reclaimed part of that back.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah. And I really want to thank you for allowing us to record this, because this will help a lot of men.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Well, that was my client's first time experiencing an IFS therapy session. Pretty powerful, eh? Hopefully you can now understand why I love internal family systems parts therapy so much, and why I truly believe it's the gentlest and most respectful form of any therapy available. What you didn't know from the session was that towards the end of every session, I stopped talking and I let my clients have 5 to 10 minutes where they can internally process what they've just experienced. I find this allows their psyche time to fully integrate the healing that's just taken place for them. Some clients go so deep in this time that it's like they're in a state of hypnosis. Once, A picture in my office smashed to the floor with a huge bang, and my client didn't even flinch at all. So that's going pretty deep. Afterwards, they told me they never heard it. It's also why I allow up to an hour and a half for each session, so people can have this time to integrate the session. I hope you enjoyed watching and listening to today's webinar. If you've been suffering from depression, anxiety, phobias, panic attacks, compulsive behaviours, or you have a history of emotional or sexual abuse, and you've tried other forms of therapy unsuccessfully, I invite you to try IFS parts therapy. Moreover, if you have any of the following parts, including a people-pleasing part, an angry part, a shy part, defensive, workaholic, inner critic, overeating, perfectionist, procrastinator, or passive-aggressive part, or even a rageaholic part, an aggressive part, unmotivated part, a victim part, a spaced out or foggy part, a judgmental part, a controlling part, an argumentative part, an indecisive part, or a worthless or unconfident part. If you have any of these or other parts I haven't even mentioned, I highly recommend you try IFS parts therapy to transform them. It would be my pleasure to guide you on your healing journey. For more information about IFS therapy or to book a session with me, you can call me on 040 66 10 826 or go to my website at www.emotionalhealingcentre.com.au. Once a month, on a Monday afternoon, I also offer one free session that will be recorded and made into a webinar. If you're interested in this, please send me a text stating the part you want to work with and your email address, and I'll put you on my waiting list. Thank you for attending this webinar today. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed sharing this information with you. From myself to yourself, may you have a great life. Goodbye everyone, and thanks for attending the webinar. Hello everyone, and welcome to this webinar